And Newcastle in hot waters so far this season.
You know what I predicted? Newcastle is gonna come second. As of right now, I have to change.
Why?
I don't think so. I don't know. They're off. Like, I also had Isaac in my fantasy league.
Fantasy.
No points. Sure, no points.
Wow.
So I don't know. Newcastle. I think they're right beside Chelsea right now, but
Yeah, they are 13th. I think they are below
They're
Chelsea.
below Chelsea, yes.
They are below Chelsea. It is a terrible season for them so
They
far.
lost against who?
They lost against Liverpool.
No, this week.
They lost against Brighton this
Brighton,
week.
yes.
Brighton destroyed them.
Not just lost, destroyed them.
They were destroyed by Brighton. They were outplayed by Brighton. There's no intensity in Liverpool in Newcastle compared to the Newcastle of last season. Newcastle of last season, they were rugged. They were physically strong.
They were different last year.
They were a different animal last season. Is it because that they have two centre backs that are injured? And now they are playing their left back as a centre back, who I believe used to be a centre back for Brighton.
Okay.
So I don't think he's new to the centre back position. He's tall. He's level
talking
head
about?
on the left. What's it called again? Bond.
Right.
So what is going on with Newcastle? That no clean sheet so far.
They have won one game, right?
They have won, yes.
Yeah.
They pieces Aston Villa,
Yes.
but failed. I think this is their back-to-back losses.
Yes, that's
Failed to
back-to-back losses.
Liverpool,
Yeah.
and now
Brighton.
Brighton.
Yeah. Brighton did it actually dirty. With Liverpool, they were 10 men down, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah, even Liverpool were 10 men down and still won. So there is something. Is it the euphoria of being in the chat? They're still celebrating
I think
Champions
so.
League qualification
Yeah.
that they did not know or they don't know that the current season has started.
Mm-hmm.
Or are they waiting? Okay, let's just. I think maybe we'll qualify Champions League, so let's just play our Champions League matches and that's it.
Yeah.
No.
I think also not just that, Eddie Howe is actually being outclassed by other managers.
What could be the reason? I mean, it's either that mentally they are not yet focused on what the task is, because the Champions League games have not started. They are not. The FA Cup games have not started yet. Yes, the League Cup games have started, which I don't know if they played their game this one of the midweek games.
Was it Carabao Cup?
Yeah, the Carabao Cup.
I don't know.
But even at that, they signed players. They brought in new faces, and they could not still play against a good Brighton side. I mean, before we continue with Newcastle, please, can someone tell me what Roberto De Zerbi is doing with Brighton? Please, guys, if you know anything that he's doing, put it down in the comment
want to
section, please.
replicate-
Just put it down there. I need to know what De Zerbi is feeding this Brighton team.
I mean, we all know what's going on with Brighton. They're playing a different game. They're pressing. They're extremely pressing on the top and just scoring. But that's what the downside is with West Ham. They lost against West Ham, right? Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
West Ham. I mean,
Yes,
there were
I mean,
there were chances.
West Ham destroyed them on the counter attack
Yes.
because that's the only thing West Ham knows how to play when they play teams that high in
Yeah,
possession.
and the type of what Brighton is playing right now, any team who knows how to counter, they can come after them. I think Newcastle had few chances,
Yeah,
but they couldn't finish it.
but the thing is that Newcastle is not a counter-attacking team.
They're not.
So
They bring the ball by keeping possession.
yes, they try to play possession-based football.
Yeah.
But the thing is this, I was telling my players the other day, I said to them, two teams cannot be possession-based at the same time. Two teams cannot be possession. One must be a counter-attacking team,
Right.
and one keeps possession of the ball. One is either holding or chasing the ball if they don't know how to press,
Yeah,
and the other will have to do, or the other just
One
sits
team-
back and wait.
You know how possession is interchanging?
Yes.
Like not both team can have the same possession. at the
Of
same
course,
time.
you can. There's no two balls on the field at the same time, right? It's only one
No,
ball.
no. Even like one team goes up and high, keep the attack press, and then the other team switches, like for 5 minutes of break or 10
Yeah.
minutes, whatever. Yeah.
So what is he doing with Brighton? I mean, the Serbi lost McAllister to Liverpool, sold him to Liverpool. Caicedo pushed his way out to go to Chelsea, the most expensive signing in English Premier League history
Yep.
or English football.
We don't talk about him. Sanchez.
Sanchez, the
It's
goalkeeper,
Brighton, right?
yes, went to Chelsea. 3 key players, the heart of his midfield, Caicedo and McAllister, gone to Chelsea and Liverpool, and this guy
still performing. Ferguson.
it's as if no one left.
Yeah, not just no one left. Like they're scoring high goals.
They're scoring,
four
yeah.
goals.
I mean, Ferguson, no one knows Ferguson. No one really knows him as, like, the high profile, high price tag center forward.
I think-
he came from so and so place or so and so league or so and so team. He's going to give us 20, 30 goals in the season. Not like Erling Haaland. We know that he's a top goal scoring, player from Borussia Dortmund. He comes to Manchester City. You know that he's going to continue scoring goals. Ferguson was actually a backup striker for Brighton, even with what's he called again, the former Man United and Arsenal striker Welbeck that plays. And this team playing total football. They just, have you ever been able to get a nicely cooked meat?
That's
Like
a
you shred it?
thread. Yeah,
Like, that's how
that's how they shredded
they
Newcastle.
they just shredded Newcastle.
That is true. It was humiliating.
They just pissed it. It was as if Eddie Howe, he there's a way a team will play against you if you're coaching that you don't even know what to tell your players again. You just maybe go and sit down and be discussing with your assistant or your backroom staff and like, what do we do in the next game? You're no more thinking about the current game going on. That's what Newcastle was done. That's how Brighton dealt with them. And like, this is not Newcastle. Something is wrong.
Something's definitely wrong, and I think adding to that pressure, I think they're gonna just explode.
I think it's added pressure.
Yeah,
I think it's added pressure.
new pressure
Yeah.
because Eddie Howe hasn't never done it before, right?
No, he has
first time
not.
Champions League.
Yeah.
it takes.
I think the solution will be to just take one. I know that he may think about this and like, okay, we just need to take one game at a
yeah.
time. The Champions League starts this month. But
You know
at least,
what's the biggest difference so far this season? Every team is performing. Like, I think the top 10 teams are performing better.
there's no consistency. There's only one team that is consistent.
Yeah, but like right now, after City, there are 5 teams with the same points.
Yes, but that's what I'm trying to say. It's not as if there's those 5 teams have lost games here and there or dropped points here and there. That's the inconsistency I'm talking about.
Out of all those 5 teams have tied their games, they've not lost.
Yeah, they've not lost, but I mean they have dropped points. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
West Ham,
West Ham, Arsenal, Brighton.
Arsenal. Brighton has lost.
Well, they have lost.
They lost to West Ham.
Yeah. Liverpool is up there.
Liverpool,
They don't lose.
they've not lost, but they've tied. They tied against
Tied.
Chelsea,
Yeah.
and they've struggled to win the other games.
Mhm.
Besides today's game against Villa.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but Man City is the only consistent team.
No, the reason I'm saying this is that maybe Newcastle, and somebody told me last year that next year is going to be tough, and it is tough because everyone has done transfers and they come with a fresh mind and whatnot.
Yes.
So yeah, that's what Newcastle is dealing with: added pressure, and the teams that they've played so far, they're like Liverpool has gotten better. To be honest,
Yes.
like Liverpool is not what it was last season.
Yes, I mean, again, the thing is that the season just started, right? The season started in August, mid-August, right?
Yeah.
So when the season starts fresh, everyone is like on the high, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone just had preseason. Everyone, I'm not. Why are you laughing?
No, last year was different. I think so.
So, but I mean, everyone's like everyone starts on the same,
Yeah, but I agree
mindset
that,
and
yeah,
thought
yeah.
process. Oh, we're
There's
gonna
high
go in there,
energy,
we're going to
yes.
crush it, we're going to do all of that.
Yeah.
But again, as the season goes on, there's a difference between the men and the boys. And Man City is the only man right now, and the only man.
You know what my fear is? Like, if there is no team matching against City, City's gonna easily win the title again. Not because City is good, because all the
The
other
rest
teams,
are awful.
all the other teams are equal, and they're just gonna
Struggle.
win, lose, win, lose, win, and then City will have like 20 points or 10, 15 points leads, and then the rest is like all just in the same
My
pot.
oh mind, it's gonna be like the
I don't want
Bundesliga.
the league like last season was still different. The Arsenal was competing.
Arsenal was competing until they capitulated.
I fear this season. You know how Liverpool in one season was like just way ahead of,
Yeah.
and they would. I don't want City to do this season. That's gonna be really boring.
Yeah, it's already painting that way because I mean City have 12 points, which is 4 out of 4.
They did struggle in one game.
Sheffield United gave him a run. Gave
Yeah,
them a
yeah,
run.
but
Sheffield United gave them a
Yeah.
run.
But
Because
that-
again, Sheffield United they are playing to survive, not to be relegated again. But I don't think they may
But
survive.
they shatter Fulham to the
Yeah,
this week.
again, but I think City is on a different level right now. Everyone is playing their game, but you come back to Newcastle, you think that there could be consistency in what they are doing and to be able to continue that, from where they stopped last season. It's not a long time between last season and this season. It's just a couple of months
yeah.
of where they took break and all of that, right? But you look at how they have played so far and how they have struggled. They struggled against Liverpool, even with one man advantage. They could not take, they did not take advantage of the opportunities that they created against Liverpool, and now against Brighton, they were humiliated. They were humiliated. And again, Brighton does not have those high price tagged players. Newcastle have those players. Newcastle have players that they spent money on. They brought in top players that they believe will add to the team.
Tonali is a good player.
Tonali from AC Milan. Harvey Barnes from Leicester City. And then the players that they already have: Isaac, Wilson.
I think they lost their good player. What was his name? The went to Saudi. Alex.
Maximin.
Yeah.
Maximin was a difference maker in Newcastle, but I think injury.
He was a threat.
Yes, he was always a threat. When you know that something is going to happen when he's on the ball.
Yeah.
But I think injury.
He was the same kind of a threat what Mitoma is right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was. Anytime he's on the ball, something is going to happen. But I think injury has limited him from reaching that. Consistently performing week in, week out.
Yeah.
And maybe he was tired of the environment as well. When you have a lot of injuries, maybe going out and trying out somewhere else could help you reinvigorate your career. I believe that some of the younger players that have gone to Saudi Arabia might still come back to Europe.
Yeah, I think so. They might have. Who are in their early 30s, like 30.
I mean, there's a 24-year-old.
Oh, they definitely work on
the Wolves captain that went to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. I think there are a lot of players who are going right now also know that the same amount of money they're giving right now, it's not going to happen
anywhere.
After 2 years, they're going to change too, because they're going to be famous or whatever if they achieve their goals to become part of the UEFA Champions League, or I don't know.
That's not happening.
That's not happening. But I'm saying that once they have established that this is something that people come because of money, then they're going to start like reducing salaries and whatnot. They cannot like do it forever for sure.
Yeah, but again, if the revenue keeps coming in, you can maybe keep the standard. That's the thing. At the end of the day, the thing is based on what salary these players are getting, right? So maybe they might be sold at a lower price, but also they make higher
Yeah.
salaries, which is what happened to some of the players. The only high profile players that they're going all and all out to get are players like Mo Salah, Ronaldo, Sadio Mane. But if they can also get other very good players to help their league grow, but at a lower rate, maybe 40 million pounds. It's a very cheap
Yeah.
buy,
Yeah.
and then your salary could be 200,000 every week, which in England you're not getting, except you're in the profile of Mo Salah, you're in the profile of Kevin De Bruyne, all those top players that are getting 250,000 pounds every week. Some are getting on 150, 100 or 120, 80, 90 and all of that a week, but it's not for every player.
Yeah.
But again, coming back to Newcastle is bankrolled by the Saudis. So I don't know what has happened to them this weekend. But guys, please, if you know what happened and why Newcastle has not been able, I think this is a back-to-back loss
Yes.
that
Liverpool
they have
and
had. And they had, I think last season, they
And
had
this
a
is the
clean
same week
sheet.
they found out who are they playing. That they have the toughest group in Champions League.
Yes.
I
So
think they have
they,
Barcelona. I don't know.
they just have to find a balance. They have to find a balance between the league and the Champions League, because if not, they're going to perform poorly in the Premier League while looking for a Champions League that they might not win. Because again, to play in the Champions League, you must have depth. You must have depth in your
For sure.
sport to be able to play whether Champions League, Europa League, or Europa Conference League. You must have depth, because again, some of these players might not be able to go midweek and then weekend, midweek and then weekend. So you may just have to find a balance. Again, you have to take into account that injuries will happen, and when injuries happen, it might take 2-3 weeks for players to recover and then come back again. And then once they are recovered, they have to go through the training and again reassess the injury, and so this could take time. But that's why the depth is very important. I don't know if Newcastle have depth in their squad to be able to manage that. Yes, they brought in wingers, but how about the midfield? What happens when you remove Joel Linton? If he's injured, who replaces him? What happens when Almiron is injured? On maybe Gordon can go to the wing or have a bounce on the wings. But what happens when you have who's the other the Brazilian midfielder that they have? Joelinton and the other Brazilian midfielder, I can't remember his name now, but two of them, what happens when two of them gets injured, or if one of them gets injured? Who is going to come in to do the same job or do better? I don't know if they have that. And the same thing, what happens at the back? Fabian Schär or Botman gets injured, which is why they are struggling now. Bond playing as the left centre back, Lascelles playing as the right centre back. Lascelles, Bones, they're not up to the same level as those two other centre backs. Who's going to cover up? What happens if Trippier gets injured? Who's going to cover him on the right back? So these are the things that you have to have at least two players for each position at the same level. Let them compete. Maybe you can even alternate or give them rotation there, that one player plays and the one rest, the other, and so on, so that if one gets injured, you're still getting the same thing. And that's why I like Man City. If you check in those positions, they have players that can fit in.
Yeah.
If Kyle Walker is injured right now, that their
He
new,
is, right?
I think I can't
And
remember if
Kevin
he
is,
played.
so
But you have the other kids that is from the academy who is able to play in them, play very well. So these are the things that makes the difference, and that's why Man City is Man City, because they get what they need. Look like Chelsea again, that gets everyone in the market, and nothing happened. Anyway, guys, I've been ranting, am I not?
You have been. You've been talking too much. What did you eat today, Chidi?
I just ate one banana. That's my
Okay.
energy pack. Anyway, guys, drop us your comments in there. If you're new to this channel, please click the subscribe button. We will be more than happy to have you here, and you will always be the first to be notified once we release new content. Thank you very much for tuning in. Catch you in the next one.
See you in the next one.